and welcome to this brand new episode of Newsmakers, the show where we bring to you spectacular personalities and their success stories from various walks of life. Because at Newsmakers, we aspire to inspire you. My dear lovely audience, I'm your host Simran and I'm so very delighted because we have a very dynamic personality with us today. He is an author, he is a music therapist, he is a life coach, and he is a mentor to many. Please allow me to welcome Mr. Sanjay Sarda on the sets of Newsmakers.
Thank you. Namaskar, Simranji. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah.
It's a really proud privilege.
Now today my first question from you would be that you are doing so much. Please tell me about your journey from how you started and achieved so much in life.
Right. So let me begin the journey from present times and going backwards. So in the present context, my whole life revolves around three basic areas of interest. One, like you said, is music. So I have been learning the santoor from the Sufi Gharana for about 10 years now. And I've been trying to use the Hindustani classical music, the power of the ragas, in trying to leverage that as something which can cure, apart from mental issues, also physical issues in patients. So I've been trying to do that as a music therapist, and by the grace of God, last year I was felicitated by the United Nations Global Peace Council and was conferred a doctorate in music therapy and a life coach. So my work on music therapy with cancer patients, with IVF patients, keeps me busy. That is one part of my interest. The second part is spirituality. So I am deeply interested in the wisdom of the Vedic ancient text that we have. So when I try to do some analysis of that, I found that the wisdom of that ancient text is so relevant today. Unfortunately, over a period of time, we have made it so complex and confusing, and the young generation have lost interest in trying to decipher through the maze of all the knowledge that is there in the text. So I've been trying to compile what best can be done for the young generation in trying to present to them in a form which is understandable and which they can implement in their daily life. So that is my second area of interest. And thirdly, I've been into the startup ecosystem. So there is a cohort of startups which are with me. The cohort is of fintech, health startups are also there, hospitality is there. So we have been even before the COVID doing various trying to help young entrepreneurship on their journeys, whether it is market connect or pivoting or trying to find out cost efficient ways of doing business. So my third sphere keeps me busy in that. So all of this is a recent development, which is about last 10 years. Before that, I was like anyone else doing a corporate grind, being a mechanical engineer and graduate from IIM Kolkata. So I was doing a normal, corporate kind of assignment and reputed corporates. And I found my ikigai, I can say, by when I found that this is the purpose of my being, and I've been very happily doing this for the last 10, 11 years.
This is so good that you found your ikigai and your purpose in life, whereas there are many people who are still struggling to find their purpose. Now my second question is, I'm very, very inquisitive to know that how do you manage to do so much?
Actually, this is a question which many people ask me, and I never have a problem because most of the people, struggle with time issues. Okay, they want to do so much in life, but time is a constraint. Time nahi milta hai, and all of that excuses are there. Actually, the way I see it, that the time management is possible in the way you want it. If you balance out your life in a very, very correct manner in the areas of health, in the area of your career, and in the area of your relationships. So unless you balance it out, what happens is, suppose one is at the cost of the other two, then that area which is having a abnormality that impinges on your productive time. For example, if your health is not proper, you end up taking undue care of your health, and then it goes on impinging on productive time. So I've been luckily, with grace of God and good wishes of everyone, been able to do the balancing of these health, career, and relationships in a proper manner, so that I have time on my hands to follow my normal ikigai. I hope I have answered your question.
Very rightly said. Time management is one thing that we all need to learn so that we can achieve our dreams. Thank you for giving us this thought. Now, Mr. Sanjay, we know that you are a renowned author. Please tell us about your new book, The History of Bharariyata.
Yeah, so this book on Bharatiyata is, I think, a very timely release, because we are all feeling, very strong feeling of pride in being Indian. The reasons for all this could be many. Economy is doing well. Politically, it's a very stable political system that we are in, and we are, geared up for being a 3 trillion economy pretty soon. So all of that, even in sports, we are doing so well, which was unheard of a few years back. So, and ancient texts, the wisdom of all of our earlier ancient texts suddenly has found a narrative in today's context. So all of this good feel is, which I call Indianness, is Bharatiyata. So this book is for making the readers understand and appreciate that this feeling of pride that you are having in being citizens of Bharat is wanting you to become more responsible and mature, so that you can leverage this feeling into the right direction, and not go into the direction of nationalistic jingoism, and rather understand that this Bharatiyata over centuries was being able to continue, because it has important foundations of tolerance, of all inclusiveness. So instead of forgetting this and being over emphatic on religion, we should be more emphatic on dharma, and able to find out our own interpretation given in the text, so that we are able to have an all inclusive way of growth in the time to come. And in this, when I analyzed, I found out that there are a lot of narratives, particularly by Western scholars with vested interest in our history books, sadly. So, in the school books, we are taught many things which are distortion of facts. And there is time come to our education system, and I think some correction is already happening. But something has to be done pretty fast, so that the essence of what Indian civilization, what our parampara actually is, should come out, so that when our young generation asks questions, which are, we have to convince them with logic, and we don't have logic. So there is logic available with them, which we have unfortunately not been able to divulge. But now, with the help of this book, I think we'll able to cull out what is the false narrative and what is actually the truth, and tell to the generation, so that their strength in being Bhartis, and in the pride of being Bharatiyata, it can be able to take the form of taking everyone in an all inclusive manner in a growth trajectory, which I'm sure the country deserves. So this is the reason why this book was written, and I felt it is basically addressed to the younger generation, because there is a spiritual element which I think is lacking in the younger generation, and much of that blame is on us, because we have not been able to explain it in a very modern concept to them. So it is even relevant today, so that even if we explain it to them in the context that they understand and make it very implementable, I think they are very smart enough to implement it, and the spiritual quotient, the emotional quotient, which is, I think, lacking, can be then built up. So this is something which I thought, yeah, IQ wise, of course, they are way higher than us, and I'm happy for that. But in SQ, EQ, maybe books like this. My earlier book also was on my journey of finding Krishna. So this is a continuation of that, in which the basic strength of the ancient text that we have, the Vedas, the Vedantas, the Bhagavad Gita, all of that is compiled in a manner which is relatable and implementable to the younger generation.
I just love the whole concept of this book, which you just mentioned. It is majorly for young generation who actually have a good IQ level, but somehow that spiritual question is still missing. So I would recommend everyone to read this book, and it will be available on Amazon super soon.
That's right.
Now, Sanjay ji, I'm really keen to know what are the takeaways from this book.
No, I will be very happy as an author, and I will think that the effort put in has been successful if some of the takeaways that I think should be taken are actually delivered. So, one is that there is a huge confusion of what dharma is, what religion is. So, we could, by this book, clearly understand that dharma is this and religion is this, and you can follow dharma without even following religion. So, this is something or we can follow different religions but still have dharma, which is more or less sacrosanct in all the religions. So this is one takeaway which I necessarily want people to have. Secondly, the essence of being there is so much jingoism on Bharat, but actually the truth of being Bharatiyas. So that and the pride that we should have. There is a genuineness in the narrative that we all should believe in, and the see through the false narratives that has been wrongly spoon fed to us. So if that is able to be understood by the people who read it, I will be very grateful. Of course, it goes through the ancient texts right from the beginning of civilization, because Sanatan Dharma, as you know, is eternal and reaches till the modern time. So it gives a historical flow of how Bharatiyata has progressed, even in times of great peril, in which so many invasions took place in our country. But still, our soul was intact. We all remained at heart Bharatiya. So if that feeling is able to be generated, of course, at the end of it, like I said, if this can help in improving the SQ and EQ in a slight way, because I think the young generation, if everything what they have planned goes through in their life, they are the best people, the best actors on the stage. But if something happens which is not planned, they somehow fall apart. So challenges in life, which is like we are aware of, that life without challenges is not going to happen. So to prepare them for these facing these challenges in a much more strong manner, so that they can be meaningful, purposeful, and strong citizens. If somehow I can be able to do that, even in a small way, I would think my work is done.
So my dear audience, the major takeaway is we will get to know the difference between dharma and religion. And there are so many other takeaways that we will be getting to know from this book. So please read on. What a wonderful message for the masses, that do not live a life of regrets. Jane bhido yaro. Yes, this is the lesson that we've just learned, that live your life to the hilt, and yes, my dear friends, find your ikigai.
No, like I said, they are much intelligent generation, and luckily, the young generation are at a time in the flow of Bharatiyata, which is the best time to be in. So, in the next 50 years, the growth trajectory that our great country will have is something. These people are going to be responsible for that growth trajectory. Yes. We have spent 3/4 of our life reaching this stage, but haven't seen that growth trajectory happening. So they are, by the grace of God, in a position to take off, and if we prepare them correctly, I'm sure they will do a great job. Of course, one thing which unnecessarily life is made more complicated than it is by people around. Life is in fact much more simpler. It is less complicated, and it is to be fully lived in, and we need to count the life in the number of breathtaking moments that we have, rather than the breaths that we take. So all of this, is the belief very strongly in my mind, and the people who know me, my friends, relatives, and all, they understand this, and they appreciate that. Of course, there is a lot of stuff that you see in Hindi films also, which my younger people, readers also would have seen. So these titles also are inspiring, rather than of course we enjoy the movies, but some of them are takeaways that are life changing, like
Yes.
Jane Bhi To Pyar Ho. Of course, that is something which I normally, we should have a life of no regrets. So Jane Bhi To Pyar Ho is a good takeaway to have as a life's motto. Of course, Kal Ho Na Ho is another one. So all of that is everything is known and understood by everyone. So maybe by someone saying it, or someone putting it down in a book, maybe it triggers out a thought process, and then you embark on a journey which you always thought was worth taking, but never had the motivation to do it. I hope people can find their ikigais, their purpose of life, and do this self realization, which I'm sure the wisdom of the Vedic text greatly helps in doing that.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Sanjay, for being on our show and enlightening us with your wisdom. It was so good to have you with us.
Thank you. It was my privilege to be on the show. Thank you. God
Thank you.
bless.
So, my dear audience, I'm sure that all of you must have taken these takeaways so very seriously, and which is going to change your mindset. And